Hi Taurus, welcome to your December 2025 astrology forecast. We are starting off the month with a lot of Sagittarius energy. The Sun, Venus, and Mars are moving through Sagittarius in your 8th house. So you may be feeling very adventurous and willing to take risks, especially related to taking on more debt or investing in financial opportunities. That's typically what the 8th house is about. Now, the 8th house is also about psychological fears or taboos. So you may be experimenting in that area as well. Maybe learning or expanding your horizons or knowledge base related to intimacy or psychology, just kind of getting to the depths of your own fears and maybe your own trauma, but you're doing it with a very optimistic, adventurous sort of energy, if that makes sense. We also have Venus that is separating from an aspect to Uranus. It was opposing Uranus on November 30th, and it was also trining to Neptune on November 30th as well. As we move forward in December, the aspects are getting wider, but it is still influential. So this means that your love nature, your creativity, passions, what you're attracted to may also have gone through some sort of idealistic form. Maybe you may have been dreaming about trying new things, different things, rebelling against any sort of stagnation or things that you have been doing so far. Uranus is all about that rebellious energy, and it's very adventurous, very willing to take risks. So there is this energy of wanting to try new things, especially related to how you earn money or how you invest financially. With Neptune, Neptune is at the cusp of your 12th house. So there is a sense of spirituality coming to play related to either your sense of creativity, your ability to connect with others, or even romantic relationships could be taking on a bit more philosophical or spiritual tone. Some things are just coming to the surface from the subconscious that you may not be able to quite put your finger on. But on December 1st, Venus is perfecting a sextile aspect to Pluto in your 10th house. Venus and Pluto together basically deepens and intensifies your desires or your creativity, your passion, passion for love too. So you may also be experiencing some sort of healthy obsessions around romantic connections, your ideologies related to romance and love, or even career, because Pluto in your 10th house is related to your public life. Possibly, that has to do with work or career. Venus does move pretty fast, so we will move away from these aspects to the outer planets by the 4th of December. The 4th is also when we have our full moon in Gemini, which is activating your 2nd house. So there's new sort of insights, information, data coming to you related to financial matters. What's really interesting about this full moon is the sun and moon are perfecting a grand cross involving the nodal axis. So the north node in your 11th house in Pisces and the south node at 13 degrees of Virgo in your 5th house. So whenever the nodes are involved, especially with the sun and moon, there is something or energies related to dualities or some sort of confrontations with the past and the present. And this could obviously revolve around information, downloads or insights, or money, financial situations as well. There may even be debts that are being repaid to you by friends in social circles or associates, especially related to how to increase your money or just in a nature that impacts your financial matters. And I say this because on the same day, there is a grand water trine between Mercury, Saturn, and Jupiter as well. Mercury in your 7th house means emotional information or emotional insights, intuition coming from other people. Saturn in Pisces in your 11th house is also a very helpful energy, especially from your communities, your social networks, and just the groups that you're part of. And Jupiter in your 3rd house can be siblings, neighbors, also a very nurturing, supportive energy. So there is a lot of help, generous advice coming your way related to improving your personal financial matters. It's just I'm getting a lot of energy of deeper or wiser advice from those that are around you, and this could be karmic. So people are repaying some sort of karmic debt to you through knowledge and information. But then on December 8th, we do have a bit of a conflict coming in. On this day, we have Mars in Sagittarius perfecting a square with Saturn in Pisces. Now, Mars in Sagittarius is a very uncontrolled, fiery, expansive energy. And it's in a house that's related to debt, shared financial resources. So it's possible that, some sort of decision you made to maybe invest turning out negatively or having a bit of a negative return, because that square to Saturn acts as a conflict, obstacle, challenge, or limitation. So it just feels like some sort of confrontation or fight related to you having to deal with limitations or blockages where you feel like you're being held back or you're coming at a loss if it is money related. On the 14th, this kind of conflict continues on as the Sun moves forward in Sagittarius to square Saturn, and Mars perfects a square aspect to Neptune. These sort of energies can represent some sort of events or unfoldings that make you feel less than or inferior, because Sun and Mars is, it's our own vitality, ego, identity, direction, how we assert our energy outward. And all that is being met with this heavy sense of limitation, like Saturn or Neptune, which dissolves and takes away energy and kind of sends things out into the void, especially in a square aspect. So there can be doubt or fears you may be experiencing on this day or around this time, uncertainty, or a sense of a hit, negative impact to your ego, vitality, or spirit. Basically, you can feel like your efforts go unnoticed, your energy or work dissolve into nothing, basically without any sort of outcome or recognition. So it can be a bit of a down time, if not just outright conflict, confrontation, possibly even aggression that you may experience. On December 19th is our new moon in Sagittarius. New moons typically talk about new beginnings, birth of a new vision, new direction, especially in Sagittarius and on the cusp of your 9th house. This could even talk about new beginnings as a result of higher education, so continuing education, or gaining some sort of new knowledge, skill sets that expand your horizons or increase your opportunities, possibly even travel too, that expand your physical reality. However, this new moon is square that Saturn and Neptune again. So Saturn and Neptune in the month of December is a recurring energy where we feel like we have to fight against invisible hurdles or blockages. But basically, Saturn and Neptune in Pisces energy, it's demanding some sort of maturity, some sort of understanding, or teaching us empathy and compassion, making us step out of our own personal experiences to connect with the larger suffering of humanity. It does have that sort of energy behind it, but there is, it does typically speak of some sort of pain and disappointment. in these sort of mature understandings, growth, compassion kind of comes to us from events or experiences that personally impact us negatively, where we do have to deal with disappointments and negative outcomes. So middle of the month, definitely some challenges. And then the next day, the moon moves into Capricorn and conjuncts Mars. Mars and moon conjunction is not easy energy to handle. Mars is very aggressive, it's very strong, especially related to a sense of willpower, dominance. And moon in Capricorn can be a very pessimistic emotional landscape, almost like emotional depression is a good expression for moon in Capricorn. But when this moon meets with a strong Mars in Capricorn, and it almost feels like our emotional world gets violated. It can manifest as a physical aggression or violence that we may experience. Typically, we experience some sort of hardship as a result of this kind of combination, especially with Venus also square to Saturn on this day at an exact degree. We can just feel very unloved and undeserving. Venus is our ability to connect with others, our ability to give, but also receive love and affection. And when Saturn blocks that, we can just feel very low, unable to feel, accept, receive love, and not able to love ourselves at the same time. So we can feel very vulnerable time, pushing us towards this feeling of void and emptiness. And a couple of days later, Venus does perfect a square aspect to Neptune, and Venus square Neptune is also a very vulnerable energy where we may have to deal with deceptive people or illusions. Basically, Venus, Saturn, Venus, Neptune, Moon, Mars lead to resentment, pain, and disappointments. So some sort of sacrifice may be demanded where we have to give something up or give in to something that doesn't make us feel great. So those are also very difficult energies, and we are ending the month off with a lot of Capricorn energy. From the 24th until the end of the month, 31st of December, Sun, Venus, and Mars all travel through Capricorn. And this is happening in your 9th house. On one hand, this means that, your direction forward, your aspirations, chasing dreams or education, any sort of expansion of our mind and growth take on a lot more serious and realistic tone. Mars in Capricorn does great. It's really great at setting goals, having grit and determination to go after our ambitions. However, the Sun and Venus in Capricorn, there is this cloudy, gray sort of energy where we may feel a bit more depressed. There is like a hit to our sense of spirit and aliveness. So we may just end the month and 2025 on a bit more pessimistic note. But this could be, as a result of earlier disappointments and possibly even pain we experienced during the month. We're just preserving our energy more and picking a more realistic path forward to invest our energy into. I hope those messages made sense for you. Obviously, take what resonates and leave what doesn't. This is just a general reading, but I hope you do have a good month, and I hope to see you in 2026. Bye, Taurus.